My name is Lilah Anderson. I'm the educator of visual literacy and learning for University Museums. And today we're going to walk around the Art on Campus collection and look at some of the artworks. So the first one I want to talk about is just behind me. It's Luis Jiménez Border Crossing. But before we get a little closer, I want to think about how I'm going to lead the tour today and how I want you, even at home, to think about and to look at the works of art. So one of the main things that we think about and teach here at University Museums is the idea of visual literacy and how important it is to look very closely and deliberately at works of art and how this can lead to better analysis, critical thinking, skills, and a deeper understanding of not only the work of art, but other ideas around us. So what I want to do is, as we walk up to the sculpture, I want you to scan it up and down, just noticing different colors, different forms, maybe the texture, material, and as we get closer, we'll pan up and down so you can look at details and then start to notice those details, and then we'll talk about them. So let's take a closer look. With a three-dimensional sculpture like this outside in an outdoor setting like this, I think it's really important to move around it, to look at it from all different angles, and also to take in where it is, because I think that site-specific nature of artworks can be important, whether it was made for a certain location or whether, like this one, it was placed here by a curatorial decision. So let's move around it, and you can get some of the sense of the scale from my height, and then we'll move a little closer, noticing different textures, the different figures we see here. So if you were here in person, I would ask you, how many figures are there in this sculpture? And I want to make sure that we notice that there's a child here. We have a man with a woman on his back, and she's carrying a baby. I want you to look closely at their expression, at their musculature, because I think Hemnes has made a lot of artistic choices here in the way he sculpted these figures that can evoke different emotions from us, the viewers, we look at this work of art. So one thing we see here at the bottom of the sculpture is the feet of the man, and they're almost out of proportionally large, right? And I think this is something that artists can do to help draw our attention as a viewer to something that is significant. And so we can see these veins and almost the bones of his feet, and I think that weight and that emphasis on the feet really give a sense of again, the journey and that human body having to move forward, and the physicality of that movement and struggle, again, that is being captured here in this. Another thing that students often notice when we look at this is this green movement of material between his legs. Is that water? Is it vegetation? Is it grass? And I think we can see different things, and that's one of the beautiful things about many people looking at a work of art, is that we have so many different ways of looking at it, and perspectives and things that we can talk about in this work of art. I see this in a lot of ways as water and moving through water, but I think there's a lot of other readings that we can have of what this is. So one of the things I want you to notice about this is the direction of it and the placement of it. So although Hemnes himself did not create this sculpture for this site, it's actually one of 5. The way that we've placed it is intentional, as in important. So it faces north, so directionally north. I think that's one thing that we can definitely can add to the narrative element of this work of art. The other thing to notice is that it's facing McKay Hall. McKay Hall is the home of the College of Human Sciences. And so again, that idea that we have a family here on this journey and they're moving towards that building where students are studying human sciences, I think has a certain impact to it. So I want to talk a little more about how Luis Jiménez made this sculpture and many of his other sculptures. He would generally begin with a model. This one starts with a clay model. So actually when you get closer you can see that he's taking balls of clay and really pushing them to create this texture across the sculpture. Then that clay model is taken and there's casts made with fiberglass. Fiberglass is kind of an unusual material to use for an outdoor sculpture. Often we see metals like bronze being used because they really hold up. But again, Hemnes was interested in using different materials. Another material that I find very interesting about his works of art is that he uses auto body paint. His dad ran a neon light shop and would fix cars, and so he took this material that was part of his everyday and transforms it and uses it in these fine works of art. And I think that in itself has a very important statement about the work of art, that he's using these materials of the everyday to create this image. So one last thing I want to talk about with this sculpture is that it was made in '89. Hemnes is no longer alive, but the relevance and the way the conversations we can have around this sculpture are still so vibrant and current and relevant. And this is really one that I think is such a great example of the power of our Art on Campus collection here, the public artworks across the Iowa State University campus. We have one of the largest collections in the whole country with over 2,000 works of art in public spaces. And we use those to educate, to discuss, to bring students into discourse of all different disciplines, and the way that we can use works of art to have critical conversations. And so I hope that that's something that we can talk about in a virtual way as well, and I hope this helps you to think about some of these things and enjoy some of our art on campus from afar. Alright, we're continuing our tour of the Art on Campus collection here with William King's Forward. And right now we're kind of in the middle of Central Campus on the main walkway that students take from Central Campus over to the library and to the rest of the central buildings over here. This was created in 1984. So I want, again, to look at this closely, to think about the placement of it. This one is a work that was commissioned for Iowa State, not necessarily this location, but for the university. So let's look at the details, and then I'm going to ask you some questions that I want you to try and answer about this work of art. Alright, so some questions I want you to consider. Which way are they walking? I want you to look at the forms and notice that they're all very much the same, right? They almost, to me, these look like stick figures that have come to life and are now walking. A drawing that has suddenly become a moving, three-dimensional sculpture. But we don't have facial expressions, right? We just have these different, essentially rectangles that have been put together to be these figures. I want you to notice that they're all holding hands. That for the most part, they're all stepping this way, but we have this one figure up here that seems like it's turning and going a different direction. So maybe that gives us some sense of leading. And so in this location, knowing that we're on a main path through campus, what do you feel like this can mean for us here at Iowa State? So I'll let you think about those, and then I'll give you a little bit of my interpretation of this work of art. So I think it's very purposeful that we have figures that almost look, they're identical, right? Yet we can still see individuals walking and moving. I associate these figures with students and faculty and staff that are moving through this artery of campus, and they're all going forward, right? Whether you're going this way or this way, I think there's no directionality really of this artwork, but that it can be that maybe we're moving intellectually, creatively, emotionally forward, because here we're in a campus space, a space of growth. So to me, this is a real fitting sculpture for this space and for this community. I also think I like to point out that kind of stick figure nature. I think William King works in a way that is very light, almost comical. And maybe we'll stop by and look at another of his artworks in the sculpture garden so you can see some of that playfulness. But there is a certain, I think, playfulness that comes through in this artwork that I want you to notice as well. But I'm sure that you have other ideas and interpretations of it. But that's one that I think about when I walk by this all the time. Here we are in front of the University Library, and I'm standing in front of Stephen De Staebler's Left-Sided Angel. This is one that I take a lot of joy in taking classes to and thinking about and talking about, because I think there's so many different ways that we can look at this work of art and read it. So one thing that you could do at home when you're looking is get on one leg and then go up onto your tippy toes, just like this angel. I don't know if I can do the tour standing like that, but that's my challenge to you, is stand for a moment like that. And then we'll talk about how that posture makes us feel. So this artwork we can see is a figure. We have a wing, looks like just one. We have one leg, the other sort of missing and not there. So my questions to you when looking at this are, is this figure, is our angel, is it ascending? Is it descending? Is it broken? Is it whole? And now that you can come down now off of your one-legged pose. And I'm assuming, if you're anything like me, that posture makes you feel unbalanced and shaky. And so I want you to consider that sensation when you look at this work of art, and when you start to think about answering those questions. So I want to think about why this sculpture is here in front of the library. This is a site-specific sculpture, so this location was taken into consideration by the artist in creating it. So, what does the library mean to you at a campus? To me, the library is this place of knowledge, right? This is a place where we can have information, we have multiple perspectives, we have histories, all coming together. So I think the library can serve for us as a symbol of knowledge. And outside this font of knowledge, we have our angel. And I think whether it's ascending or descending is very much related to that idea of knowledge and enlightenment, and the experience of intellectually growing and growing in this space of the university. So I see this as the angel that has potential to take that knowledge, take that experience, and ascend. So this This sculpture was created in 1986, and at the time that it was installed, it was pretty controversial. There was certain people on campus, some students really didn't like it, and I think that that fragmented figure can have a lot of different, evoke a lot of different responses. But yet I think it's very powerful that a work of art can create such conversations. Because one thing that I like to tell students is, I am totally fine with you not liking a work of art as long as you can tell me why and you can express that. And really just taking the time to look at something closely and consider it, to think about different interpretations, context of it, and then basing that evaluation is such a powerful tool that we can carry into all different disciplines. So again, this is one that I love the discussion that we can draw out from this work of art. So we walked over from Left-Sided Angel to the outside of the hub to look at one of the newer works of art on campus in our collection. This is Coalesce by Susan Chrysler White. This was installed last April, and it was part of the renovation of the hub project. There was a committee. Like many of our art on campus artworks, there is a public art committee that writes a public art statement. It's formed from the individuals that are part of the either college or department that are basically kind of acting as part of the commissioning of these projects, and they state what they're interested in, and they are presented with various artists, and they have a say in selecting the artist that's part of that project. So one of the really unique things about our art on campus collection is that we have all these different voices of who's selecting the works of art. There's not a single curator, but there's many people that have created this collection and what's in it. So it's exciting to look at that aspect of these. So the committee that was part of the renovation project for the hub, they were interested in having an artwork that represented community. This space here that we're in front of is an area where so many students, faculty, staff come together to eat, to discuss ideas, to join together in a very communal area. So much of what they were looking for and wanted in an artwork was something that could talk about that, could speak to that. And so Susan Chrysler White was selected. She is an artist that works out of Iowa City. She's a professor of both painting and sculpture at the University of Iowa. And she actually has several works of art in our public art collection. There's a work of art over in Friley Hall. She also has a beautiful hanging sculpture in Morrill Hall, Zoopsia. This is the newer of her installations. So let's take a closer look at some of the details. So as we look at this work of art, we can see lots of different images. There is a certain intricate nature of it. These to me look almost like leaves, or the venation of leaves or cells. And I think that beautiful kind of intricate detail and the huge range of really bright, joyous colors that Susan Chrysler White uses really creates an artwork that does feel like it coalesces, right? Like it comes together, like it's moving, and has this community of different forms that come together to create something that's very whole and very beautiful. You can see that there's two different sections that move from one into the other and connect this area of dining tables that I'm standing in front of. So this is one that, again, I think really embodies that public art statement of creating a work of art that allows visitors and viewers to contemplate the idea of community and coalescing, whether it's in nature, whether it's a group of cells, whether it's a group of organisms, whether it's a group of leaves, whether it's a group of people, that we have this sense of community and coming together that's very important. So as I mentioned, I wanted to bring you over to the Anderson Sculpture Garden to look at another of William King's works of art in the Art on Campus collection. This one is called Solo. And this one always makes me smile as I walk up to it. It has this vibrant color red. There's these sort of outlandishly large feet of this figure and hands just spread out wide. And I think there's a certain sense of kind of exuberance and of accepting of one's own self in this work of art. It's called Solo. And to me this is kind of an embrace of the world and just opening up and being able to say, this is me. So we walked down to the Memorial Union and we're with the Fountain of the Four Seasons, one of the most iconic works of art in the Art on Campus collection. This was created by Christian Petersen. And I want to take a moment to talk a little bit about Christian Petersen before we go further in our discussion of the fountain. He came here in the 1930s, started as an artist in residence, was the first artist in residence at a college campus in the country. Came alongside Grant Wood when Grant Wood was working on the murals in our university library, which is a subject that I hope to cover in another of our Art on Campus virtual tours. But Petersen came here and then actually was hired onto the faculty, taught sculpture here for 25 years and created a really lasting impact, not only as a professor but also on the aesthetic of the campus, creating 12 major sculptures that are throughout the campus and really in a lot of ways build the foundation of the public art collection and the Art on Campus collection. So today I want to take a closer look at the Fountain of the Four Seasons. Petersen created this sculpture after he had visited Tama, the Meskwaki settlement, and he was actually involved in creating illustrations for a children's book to talk about Meskwaki culture, ways of life, in order to educate those on traditional Meskwaki ways. So he spent time there and was inspired by this experience, and I think we can see some of that in the fountain as we look at the details. So again, going back to that first work of artwork that we looked at, border crossing, I want to think about how we can look closely at this and observe the details and really discover more and delve into this and learn more about it just from looking and paying close attention. So let's work our way around. Again, this is obviously something we can look at from all different angles, 360 degrees, so I think it's important to do that. So let's take a look around. So we're on the eastern side of the sculpture. This fountain is very much positioned directionally like a compass, and you can see there's the 4 points here. So starting on this side, we see a woman kneeling down, planting a seed in the earth, and she's holding an ear of corn. And then as we move, I want you to pay attention to the small details along the surrounding the fountain. You can see plants growing and ears of corn. And let's move now to summer. I'm sorry, I'm giving away our seasons here, but maybe these are seasonal. We have a woman that's cradling a young plant, and the plant is coming up from the ground. You can see it's in her hands. And here now we're facing in the southern direction. So then let's keep going around to the next figure. So this maiden, as Petersen called them, the maidens of the fountain, she's holding a bushel of corn. So here we have a harvest. And you can start to see our seasonality coming into play. So the planting of the seed, the nurturing, growing of the crops, the harvest. And now I think one of the most beautiful and impactful parts of the fountain is our north-facing maiden. So normally in the summer we have water going through here. Obviously it's not on right now, but this would be filled with water, the pool, and water would come through here. So we get to the last maiden, and here she is holding a child and nursing a baby. And so when I ask students to look at this, how can we make sense
this cycle of seasons, and I think this really shows not only maize and corn as a sort of a life-giving, but just the practice of growing of agriculture as a really life-giving force and something that sustains us through the whole year. So this is kind of our winter that then moves into the growing season again. So just from looking again at those figures, what they're doing, we can get this whole other kind of reading of that sense of the seasons and the movement of nature and how we as humans interact with that and interact with agriculture. So I think it's a really, again, a fitting sculpture for students who are here studying agriculture, who are here studying all different disciplines, to think about that human aspect of what they're studying and contemplate it. So it's, again, an exciting work of art to be able to think about different ideas in our Art on Campus collection. Thank you for joining me on this virtual tour of the Art on Campus collection. We look forward to a time when we can have in-person tours, but until then, there's a lot of resources that University Museums has to offer. During this time, we have our entire collection of objects online through our e-museum, so you can search all the objects of the Art on Campus, but also our entire permanent collection. So that's an exciting offering we have. The whole staff is writing different object of the day analysis that we hope to share with you to keep you excited and entertained. And we hope to create more of these videos so you can have and experience the museums from home. So please don't hesitate to reach out through our website to us if you have questions or want to discuss more. We're here to help. And again, thank you for joining me today.